Want to thank you for sticking with us on the Battlefield Live radio program. We still got a lot to cover. If you haven't yet, make sure you follow us on Twitter at LanternsBuzz. You can follow me on Twitter at Paul Revere again, and you can follow Trey at T-Rob Radio. So, I guess a big question here is, what is the purpose of the Second Amendment?
Well, don't you think it's do you have to interpret it when you read the Second Amendment? I mean, is it confusing to you?
No. And I'm going to tell you why it's not confusing.
Go ahead.
And I'm posting right now the article that I wrote. I did a lot of research on this.
On the Second Amendment?
On the Second Amendment. And the article is called "A Well-Regulated Militia," because this is the part of the Second Amendment that people always, I guess, get bent out of shape about, and the liberals try to twist.
They try to pigeonhole what that means.
Right.
Okay, so let's do the easy thing. What can we eliminate? The Second Amendment does not apply to hunters.
Right.
Okay? I mean, nothing in there says you can have a gun because you want to hunt.
Right.
Obviously, you can't – the Second Amendment doesn't protect you getting a gun to commit crime.
Right.
So any illegal act using a gun is not protected under the Second Amendment.
Right.
So then this is where it gets kind of fine-tuned, because most people say, well, the Second Amendment says that you should be able to have a gun for personal self-defense.
Okay.
And that's not even.
Well, let me walk this out a little bit.
Go ahead.
Okay, so in Article 1, Section 2, Clause 1, this is where the militia is first mentioned. People always talk about the militia in the Second Amendment. Well, the Second Amendment came after the initial writing of the Constitution, specifically Article 1,
Correct.
Section 2, Clause 1, which says, "The President shall be Commander-in-Chief of the Army and Navy of the United States and of the militia of several states when called into actual service of the United States." Now, if we know the history of the Constitution, when the original Constitution was written, there was concerns by the Federalists that there was not enough protection from the military getting out of control. All right? What they did is they crafted the Second Amendment. What there was a fear that a sole leader could take over the country. So the Second Amendment was intended to amend this portion of the Constitution with a more defined right of the people. So it states, this is the Second Amendment, it says, "A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, comma, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed." It is a two-part statement. The comma is there for a reason. It's not like today.
Are we parsing commas now?
Yeah, well, I mean, if you use a dictionary earlier, now we're talking about grammar.
You're right.
Yeah. So I don't know how clear it can get, right? It's crystal clear that the Second Amendment's main purpose was not to protect the rights to duck hunt or protect one's property.
Sorry, Duck Dynasty.
But rather to regulate the militia. Now, if this seems a little bit extreme, we can look at the Federalist Papers that got together, like Alexander Hamilton and John Jay and these guys. They wrote the Federalist Papers because they didn't like the original crafting of the Constitution. It needed to be further amended in order to give us further protection from the government.
Right.
One like the one that was trying to kill them. In Alexander Hamilton's Federalist 29, he defines the concern of federal militia in this statement. He says, "If a well-regulated militia be the most natural defense of a free country, it ought certainly to be under the regulation of and at the disposal of that body, which is constituted the guardian of the national security. If standing armies are dangerous to liberty, and efficacious power over the militia in the body to whose care the protection of the state is committed, ought as far as possible to take away the inducement and the pretext of such unfriendly institutions."
Now, where are you reading that from, Chris?
This is Federalist 29.
Oh, Federalist 29.
29. That's Alexander Hamilton. So basically, he's talking about what the well-regulated militia is. The well-regulated militia is us regulating the militia. Okay? Now, James Madison further explains in Federalist 46 how the armed people can regulate the militia by simple mathematical odds. This is what he says. "The highest number to which, according to the best computation, a standing army can be carried in any country does not exceed 1/100th part of the whole number of souls, or 1/25th part of the number able to bear arms. The proportion which not yield in the United States an army of more than 25 or 30,000 men. To these would be opposed a militia amounting to near 500,000 citizens with arms in their hands, officered by men choosing from among themselves, fighting for their common liberties, and united and conducted by governments possessing their affections and confidence. So as you can see, the founders looked at the militia as a necessary evil. They believed that the only way for America to protect themselves is to have a well-regulated militia. So the intention, folks, of the Second Amendment was to protect us from the federal government. So when you have people that say that they want to take away our weapons, they're taking away our right to protect our liberties and our property and our pursuit of happiness, other words.
You are listening to the Battlefield Live radio program with Chris and Trey from Lanterns.buzz and Battlefield.buzz. Follow us on Twitter at LanternsBuzz and Facebook at LanternsBuzz. You will be pleasantly surprised. We are here to fix the machine.